Okay, welcome everybody. And we are so glad tonight to welcome to the forefront of our journey that we're on in this month of January as we begin into a new year. We are so excited to introduce to some and reacquaint with others, Ms. Sandy Baum, our sales leader, our style maker, our skincare extraordinaire, our instructor, our trainer, our lover of all things. So we are so excited that she is here tonight. And so without further ado, I welcome Sandy Baum all the way from Branson, Missouri to come and tell us, what is it?
St. Louis.
St. Louis, okay, same thing.
Okay. Okay, good. Excuse me.
No, so from St. Louis, Missouri, that sounds better. Okay, so that's good. That's good. St. Louis. And so we are excited and we are glad that you are here and joining us, even if you're coming on and watching this as a replay. So Sandy, it's all yours, my dear.
Thank you very much, Sharon. And it is my pleasure to share this with everybody tonight. I want you to think about this. We spend 365 days a year getting older. We only have one precious face per lifetime. I mean, I know you can have tucks and things done, but it's still your face. That's why it's so important to take 10 minutes a day to take care of it properly. 5 in the morning and 5 in the evening. So just remember, you're investing in yourself. The importance of skincare, I tell my team all the time, you can build a lifetime income selling skincare. I love makeup too, but skincare is the foundation. It keeps your clients looking good and they're happy and they're good advertisement for you. And the repeat sales, I never will forget years ago when I got my first repeat order for, at that time, it was about $30 or $40. And I thought I was just going to burst a bubble. But the repeat business, you know, it comes and it stays. They may wander away, but they come back. And your clients are going to buy skincare somewhere. Why not let them buy from you? We do have great products. And we're going to look at skincare tonight and talk about the layers of the skin and how the skin works. And the book that I'm going to show you some graphics from in just a minute should be available to everybody, but I'm going to encourage you that if you do not have the skincare book, to buy it. It is so wonderful because it helps you to understand the layers. The epidermis is what we look at, but the living cells, the dermis, is down lower, and that's what we want to really work on. And of course, down below that is the subcutaneous tissues and the fatty layers. But it's constantly shedding dead cells. So it's very important that we use all of our products. And as I said, it's very important to understand it. And, you know, there's many harmful things. And even though they show sun as being number one, I sometimes think that stress is number one. And, you know, the skin is the largest organ of the body, but the problem is it's on the outside and everybody can see it. So it really is important that we take that few minutes a day and take care of it, and occasionally give yourself a home spa treatment. We all deserve it. This is in the book, and it's the Color Me Beautiful Skincare Instruction Booklet. I believe it's either in Sales Aids or it may be under Color Alliance in Sales Aids. They move things from time to time. But this is one of the photos that's really good and it shows the different layers. But this one right here, I actually blew it up and I use this when I'm doing a consultation. Because when you're telling a lady that you want her to use several products because she needs to get to the dermis and show her where the dermis is, way down here, this is what we see. So it does support the epidermis. So that's why it's so important that we use products that get down to that and treat living cells. The outer layer of skin is really dead cells because it's always shedding, and that's why it's important that we exfoliate. This is one of the charts, and there are others. This is another one that I know Jill shared with me years ago. But it's important that you learn how to analyze skin, and you may do it by looking at them. You may do it by asking questions or even letting them ask questions. This is how the skin scan looks. And it normally was $95. When I was first introduced to it, we had to make a $50 deposit and pay $50 a month to rent it. And we actually had the incentive that if you moved up the ladder and became an executive director, you got to use the skin scan for free. So, you know, little incentive sometimes helps us do great things. Excuse me. But the scan, I'm going to use my pointer right here, is just, it's like a magnifying glass with a light in it. It actually has two lights, and it comes in a padded case. My case is worn out. My skin scan is perfect, but the foam rubber inside the case, let me see if I can show you right here, has kind of deteriorated because I've been using mine a long time. And I think it still comes with little colored pencils and this mirror. And I'm going to explain why that mirror is so important. But it's pretty compact and easy to carry with you or store at a nice place. And I use mine in my guest bathroom, the powder room, because there's not a window in there. And it's a handheld device. You might see this in a dermatologist office. I've even seen it in a ophthalmologist, an eye doctor, and estheticians use something very similar to it. The two lights, the black light is a low wattage light, and it shows per circulation, dehydration, and so forth and so on. The white light helps you to see what the condition actually is. And I'll get into a little bit more detail about that in just a second, why you need to use both lights. The magnifying lamp and the black light is actually called a Wood's light. And Dr. Wood was the dermatologist that years ago figured out that this worked. And it is a safe light because it's only a very low wattage black light. And you do need to use it in a darkened room. I know I was talking to somebody about possibly doing a school and using the skin scan. It's kind of hard to do that way because you can't always get total darkness. And I've gone in closets, I've gone down the end of the hallway, and like I mentioned a while ago, my studio has a powder room just a door or two away, and I normally take my client in there because I have lots of windows in my studio. And ordinarily it's $95, and it is on the sales aids category. It's not in Color Alliance, it's just in sales aids, I believe. And it's on sale in January for just $50. And you may not use it every appointment you have, but once you learn how to use it, I think you'll really enjoy it. It can be used on both men and women. In fact, when I used to go to people's homes, I would find that the children would always want me to scan their skin too. And it does save the client money as well as time because you're not just guessing. And you want to start out first with thoroughly cleaning the skin. And that means the cleanser and the toner and removed with a damp washcloth thoroughly. And I might suggest don't dry your face off with a towel because some towels are linty and they will put little lint on the skin. So it's better not to dry your face with a towel. If you'll squeeze your washcloth out, you can get it dry enough that the face will just dry on its own. And it's good to turn the light on for about a minute before you're ready to do the skin scan. And you may need an extension cord or a 3-prong plug. Most of the houses, I moved from my home into 35-year-old condominium, and we do have 3-prong plugs. I think that's probably code these days, but I know when I started working with a skin scan, very often did I need the 3-prong plug. The colors that you will see on Caucasian skin, the really intense brown spots indicates sun damage. Orange generally means oily, or it means clogged pores, and that's why it's important that you use the black light and the white light. And I'll elaborate on that just a minute. Little white spots are dead cells, and it actually looks like it's snow. That's why I recommend that you don't dry your face with a bath towel or a hand towel because they can be very linty. And lavender tells us that there's dehydration in there. Dark purple, and that's generally right around the eyes. Now, I'm going to give the exception to the lavender and the purple. Ladies of color very often will see more purple than they do lavender. And yet, if you look around their eyes, you'll see it's even darker purple. The reason that generally exists, that's where there's very little circulation and the skin is the thinnest around the eyes. So it shows through more. And that's why using our eye cream and eye gel products are so important. Any exercise helps move circulation, but when the blood's not really moving, it will show a dark purple. And in the orange areas, if someone is just halfway cleaning, they may have orange spots where they had worn their blush. If they didn't remove all of their lipstick product or lip product, it may look orange on their lips. If you were to shine the skin scan, the black light, on a made-up face, you will see a lot of orange in the blush and the lip area and so forth. So I find it really does reveal what it says it does, but it's kind of good that you prepare someone about it. And this is kind of what the black lights look like when it's turned on. Now, I took some pictures of some young girls and wanted to show you what difference that the black light can make. And you know, the teenagers don't always take real good care of their skin, but look at Nicole in natural lighting and then look at her with the wood light. Now, I think this is so interesting. You'll notice that she has more sun damage on her right side. And she was about 4 years younger, and she is a driver today. I bet she's got as much on the right side. So if someone is just a passenger, they're going to get more sun on their face, you know, on the side that they're sitting on. And I've been using sunscreens and so forth. And, you know, and most windows in automobiles today are tinted, but that light still comes through and can still do sun damage. And this is how you want to line your client up. This is not the same person that I'm holding the skin scan on. But you want to hold the skin scan about 7 or 8 inches away from their face. A good way to judge that is that, like, if you could put your hand in between their face and the skin scan. And you see, I'm looking through the magnifying glass. That's why I have her holding that mirror that comes in the skin scan. And you always want to put it on the magnification side so that they can see exactly what you're seeing. And I scan one side at a time, and I normally look for one issue at a time. I don't hold the light up and leave it there for 10 minutes while I'm doing the skin scan. It doesn't hurt anything, but you know, for the client, it's a little uncomfortable to have that bright light that close to them for that time. And it doesn't do damage. It's just not real pleasant. So make sure that you instruct them to look in the magnifying mirror and not to look at the light. Make sure that they're looking in the mirror and you're looking through the magnifier. It's a good idea to always clean your skin scan just before you use it, because it's amazing how it can get a little bit of dust on there and you don't get a real good scan. So, and these are headbands. I'm not sure they're still in with the skin scans. At one time, we had them readily available, but all this fits back into the case. That's what that foam rubber, it protects the skin scan. I've been using my skin scan for probably 30 years, and I'm still using the same light bulbs that it came with. I bought extras when I got it, but these have never burned out because you don't leave it on forever. You just leave it on while you're doing the skin, which is not a real long time. And this is Kay, and you can see a few little freckles on her face, but look at this when we look at her with the wood light on her. Again, see how she has more sun damage over here than she does on this side. Isn't that amazing? I'm going to pause for just a second and see if anybody has any questions of what we've gone over so far.
Yeah, I do have a question. When you said the different colors, and that identifies whatever the problem is, the actual colors you show in there? Because I see this, the sun damage, but do you actually see the colors, or is it shaped a way where you can know the difference between the oily skin and the sun damaged skin?
Well, these are not the best photos in the world. I just wanted to give some general idea, because yes, we had the lights out, but I flashed a camera on her face. So there is some light there. And no, it doesn't always show everything. And on these girls, I'm seeing some lavender. I've noticed a little bit of orange down here, but when you use the skin scan, you will see that it actually looks like orange dots. And this is the form. This is available on our business builders, or you know what, I'm not sure where it is. It's on the inside. Color me. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's on inside.
Yeah, I got my copy of it, and I just make copies of my copy. I don't always go to inside to get those, but it tells you each thing. All the areas are orange. Okay, so if you're looking through the wood light and you see orange, it's a good idea to double check with the white light to make sure. Often I see that it's just blackheads around the nose. If someone is truly oily, they will have orange all over their face, not just on the nose, okay? Dehydration is, again, on Caucasian skin, it's lavender. On ladies of color, it's more of a purple, okay? That is the one thing that I found that is a little different. in scanning the different lighter and darker skins. Dead cells will show up like sun. It actually looks like somebody sprinkled a little snow on their face. And most people do have that. And it's not uncommon for ladies of color to have some sun damage, depending on how much they've been in the sun and how dark their skin is. And unfortunately, those fine lines and wrinkles show up. And I don't know why. I do know why. Birthdays. But we can do a lot to smooth them and soften them. But blackheads, if you're using your skincare products on a regular basis, you'll find that that will really help get rid of the blackheads. When I was first introduced to skincare, and this will let you know how long it's been, a lot of people were using Noxzema to clean their face. And Noxzema is a menthol product that was actually formulated 100,000 years ago for diaper rash. It doesn't really have any cleaning ability in it. But regardless of what type cleaner you're using, even if you use our wonderful coconut cleanser, yes, you'll let it melt off, but I recommend don't tissue it off. Get yourself a warm washcloth and kind of hold that to your face and then wipe it off. Rinse that cloth out, go over it again. Do about 3 or 4 rinses to thoroughly remove all of the coconut cleanser or the gel or whichever cleanser you're using. I used to have a client that would buy 2 bottles of cleanser at a time, and one time I asked her, and this was the cleansing lotion, kind of like the Ultimate C. I asked her how she went through it so fast. And she said, oh, I always use it twice every night when I take my makeup off. And I'm like, well, she does have pretty skin. I can't argue with that. But you do want to make sure that you thoroughly remove. And just going over the face once is not thoroughly clean. You do need to go over it 2 or 3 times. And broken capillaries can come from your diet. It can come from using too hot water. It can also come from being harsh on the skin. So you will want to point that out if you see them and just say, you know, don't be so rough on your face. It's the only one you're going to get, and let the products do the work for you. You want to scrub the kitchen floor, not your face. And always recommend an exfoliator, even if they are not showing dead cells, because you want to prevent them from collecting on the surface. When someone is just using lots of moisturizer and makeup, and I do have clients to this day that sometimes that's what they're doing, they're basically putting those products on dead cells, and they would use half as much if they would regularly exfoliate. I normally suggest from like, I'm going to say 20 to 35 that you do it at least once a week. And as the birthdays roll by, you may want to increase it. And often people need to exfoliate 2 to 3 times a week, and definitely in the summer, but in the winter when we're in the dry heat and so forth and so on. Actually, our cold air outside's been dry for the last few days. But anyway, those are some things. Any questions on doing the form for the client?
You have, you have some questions in the chat though.
I'm sorry.
You have questions in the chat.
I'll read it. I'll read it for you.
Okay.
Florence wanted to know, does the skin scan, I think you answered this question though. It's she asked, does the skin scan show beep or lavender or purple for people with extra dry skin? And what do you use to clean the skin scan with?
I normally use a special cosmetic towel that I order for demos, and it does not shed lint. You could use a microfiber cloth, and I would use some kind of either alcohol or disinfectant so that you're making sure you keep it nice and sanitized. Any other questions I need to take care of right now?
No,
Well, I
think
was
that's
wondering
good.
about the dry skin. I mean, is there a way to differentiate between somebody who has just have dry skin versus somebody who say like suffer from eczema, where their skin is, more dry than an average person?
Yeah, that's a skin condition that's a little bit different. One of the things I
Okay.
wanted to comment before I go on to the next slide. You can do one of two things. You can put a carbon in this and make a duplicate copy for your client, or you can make notes on their record card and give them this sheet, because sometimes they don't always purchase everything that you've recommended, but if you've marked what you see, you can give them the information, and sometimes they do come back and say, okay, I got this time, I want to get the so-and-so the next time. Okay. And I'm going to elaborate a little bit on the differences between serums and moisturizers, and try to help your clients understand the difference, that they are different. But it really is amazing that these girls were teenagers, that even on their skin, that they hadn't been living as long as the rest of us. And it does show. Have you ever seen a newborn baby with freckles? No. Maybe a toddler? Yes. And it is the sun that causes that. That's where sun damage comes from. I think that one of the best places to start would be to analyze your skin or your own skin. If you're asking for yourself, the skincare questionnaire that Jill has, kind of that second one I showed you, and I'm sure she gave you a copy of it, and she'd share another one. I might even have one I could share. I'm not sure that I have it on a template, but and doesn't Color Me Beautiful have one in the training area now, how you identify those things? Sharon, I'm asking. Anyway, we'll get back.
On inside, I'm sorry, I thought I had unmuted.
Okay.
On inside, there is a sheet that talks about,
Identifying.
yeah, it identifies all that. And then also we have a problems and solutions
Yeah.
document as well. Mhm.
Yes, yes. And I'm sorry I didn't get that copied. I was busy trying to update my products, but I start everyone that's a brand new client on the Age Spot skincare set, because I think the vitamin C and the Complete Fix are two wonderful products. Now, I don't normally have a teenager sit in my beauty chair. Generally, my clients are anywhere from their mid-20s up to up there. And, I just really do feel that they need that. Now, they may need other things as well, but I really do feel that that's pretty basic. And the aging skin, I think, is more so designed for drying skin. And it has the coconut cleanser. I think I use the coconut cleanser occasionally, and I keep one, like I need to pamper myself a little bit. I do that, but I don't use it on a daily basis, and I'm being honest. And yet I know Kate Lesser loves the coconut cleanser, and she used that to clean her makeup off even before we became a part of Color Me Beautiful. So, you know, it's kind of, you got to believe in what you're showing your clients, and you have to have experienced it yourself. Now, I say that, but I know not everybody has oily skin and are going to necessarily try these products just to say, tell your clients. But they do give us good choices. And I think that's wonderful. And the same thing in the Florey. The gel, and I'm sorry, I forgot the correct name of it, but it's the new moisturizing gel that's available. And
Daily Do.
thank you. I did take my Ginkgo biloba today, but it's not working. I'm sorry.
You funny. You funny. That's all right, girl. I just took me some ginger and turmeric. I don't know what it's gonna do, but it sounded good.
Yeah. No, I actually did find that the ginkgo biloba helps bring up things that sometimes didn't come up. Anyway, you need to decide what collection you're going to use and start on it right away, you know, and try to do an order. If you're brand new in the business, you want to maybe get this for oily skin and, you know, get a couple of them. You don't necessarily have to have them all. I have one of my consultants that wanted to get rid of something she's got on her face, and she's not a lady of color, and she's using the enlightening system. So she knows enough about skincare that I know it's going to be okay. But there are lots of choices, and I would say take advantage of these. I'll show you in a minute that I use this as my basic, and then if they need other things, because there's not really a moisturizer in this set, I recommend that too. So I'll show you when I share it. I call it my closing sheet. But there's basically 3 steps to skincare. Cleaning, and you want it to be soap-free, but it can be a cream or a lotion or a gel or a foam, as long as it cleans good. And the toner or freshener is to bring the skin back in the pH balance. Do you know that if you just use cleanser without freshener or toner, that it takes the skin 8 hours to naturally come back into balance? And the reason that that's important, during that 8 hours, the skin is more susceptible to pollution in the air and bacteria that you would encounter with, you know, things in your home or car or shopping or whatever. But it is just teach people that toner or freshener is part of the cleansing process. You wouldn't wash your clothes and not rinse them, would you? So that's kind of what toner or freshener does for the skin. It's the final rinse. And as it says right here, finishes the cleansing process. And then moisturizers, they are designed to soothe, soften, protect, and most of them do contain antioxidants. There it is, the Daily Dew. And they really are necessary for the skin. And this is the oily skin recommendation in the Adria and the Florey each. And also the primers, the oil blotting primer is really, really good for excess oil. I was really excited when I found out that that primer, and Sharon, correct me if I'm wrong, and I know you will, that if someone has oily skin and they've used that in the morning, and if they see a little bit of oil appearing, they can just kind of dab that on their face, and that will help absorb that excess oil. And I have known people that are so oily that it just keeps coming and coming and coming. I had a client, she actually was a consultant, and we found out that because she was not really using all of the products, she was just using things to dry her skin and to get rid of the oily skin, that it was causing her to produce more. So it's good to teach your clients to balance their skincare. Very important. I made some copies of this and I hand this out to my clients because they forget what you teach them. You always work up and out with skincare. That's with serums and moisturizers and cleansers and so forth. The opposite is true for makeup application. With makeup application, you go horizontally and downward. So it's very important that you teach that. Now, I researched and have really tried to teach my consultants and my clients the difference between a serum and a moisturizer. I found one of the girls in our business was just selling vitamin C capsules like crazy and said that is the wonderful moisturizer. And I'm like, no, it's not meant to replace the moisturizer. Serums are thinner and lighter. In fact, you know, we have some that are real fluid, but the vitamin C capsule and also the retinol PM both are a little bit thicker. But the reason they're to help the moisturizer or enhance what the moisturizer does, they penetrate deeper. And there are all kinds of serums. I also had a client in Colorado that would constantly tell me, well, I picked up this serum at the Walgreens store and won't that work? Well, just because it has the name serum doesn't mean that they all do the same thing. They're designed to do a specific job. And our vitamin C is to enhance what the moisturizer does and to help protect and smooth and soften. The retinol is used at night only. You do not want to go out in the sunlight with retinol on your skin. But neither one of them replace the moisturizers. So make sure that you remember that, and they go on first. The thinner the serum, it should go on. And then, in other words, if you're using the complete fix in the vitamin C, put the complete fix on, give it time to absorb. And that may be 5 minutes while you go get another cup of coffee or make up your bed or whatever, and then apply the vitamin C. Okay. They tend to be a little bit expensive, serums do, but luckily you only need a little bit of them. And all of our serums that we have are pretty much controlled. Let's kind of look at some of the serums. We have the Nourish and Firm in Gail Heyman, and it's an excellent product. And we have the Ageless Elixir. I just refer to it as the elixir. It's a mouthful. You might want to shorten it when you're talking to clients, even though we know what it is. It is advanced, and it has the alpha hydroxy as well as the exfoliators in it. But those are two different really fluid serums that we have. I personally recommend the complete fix for daytime and the Ageless Elixir for bedtime. And then I apply my vitamin C over and then the retinol over at night. So I use 2 at night and 2 in the morning. And there are times when I'm doing my bedtime skincare that my skin feels okay. I try to do it early enough that it's got time to absorb. I know I heard this one dermatologist talking about that when you put it on just before you go into bed and you jump in bed, turn out the light, that all your good things are treating your pillowcase and it won't do a thing for the pillowcase. So try to do your evening skincare early enough that it has time to absorb. And some of these products, like our peptide wrinkle minimizer in the Gail Heyman and the Adrian Arpel both, they have some super duper ingredients in them And so does the Swiss collagen and so forth and so on. But they are thicker, and if you use those, they should go on last. I often either reach over for my everything cream after I've done my 2 serums, and sometimes I use the Swiss collagen. Just depends on what mood I'm in, but either one of them are good nighttime moisture creams. Any questions on that?
And I just want to ask one more question. So in following the list, did you kind of put these in order of how you would put them on your skin? One to the next, like the Heyman and then the Ageless, or let's do the vitamin C?
No, I did that on my training that I did for my group last week.
Oh,
That,
okay.
that definitely, but just try to keep in mind, the thinnest goes on first. And the Complete Fix and the Ageless Elixir both are much thinner than the vitamin C or the retinol. Okay. So if you're doing one of those and then one of the capsules, and then if you need it, the moisture cream. I know that there are a lot of girls that love the retinol, and they're maybe 20 or 30, and that's all they use on their skin at night. Sharon, do you find that some of the ladies of color that you work with skincare, that they are fine without a nighttime moisturizer?
The retinol PM is what a lot of my clients are using.
Right, right.
But the other product that a lot of the Flory clients use is the My Everything cream. So because we are out of stock, I think this is a good place to mention that we're out of stock on the My Everything cream. So what I'm recommending now is the Swiss Formula Day cream, or the Swiss Formula cream,
Right.
because it's the closest in terms of texture, consistency, and it will give a similar kind of feel for the customer. So, but the My Everything cream and retinol PM are generally the night treatment for my clients.
Okay. Well, even when we had many more products like Moroccan Miracle and blah, 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 I've always encouraged clients that maybe are just getting introduced to nighttime skincare, either My Everything cream or Swiss collagen, because they are light in texture, and they both do a good job. I'm excited about our new catalog with everything in it. And it's interesting because I had a very, I don't call her an old client. She's been my client for many, many years. The last time I delivered to her, she said, you know, I wish they would just put everything they sell in one catalog. And I said, guess what? We're doing it. It's happening.
I can't wait, because I can't wait until I will hear somebody say, well, why did you put all of them in one catalog? I know it's coming. It's coming.
Well,
and
I think
Tahira, you know what what my response is going to be. Where have you been?
Well, I do think that, as they say, we've been reaching across the aisle and using all the brands for a long time. And I do think this will help us all. I really do. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Moisturizers are thicker and creamier than a serum. They are meant to hydrate the skin and prevent water loss. Some moisturizers can have extra ingredients, such as anti-aging ingredients, and they do a double duty. I just mentioned that. Whoops, I'm going backwards. I'm sorry. The peptide, the Super Rich Moisture Cream, My Everything Cream, and the Swiss Collagen Cream. Those all have anti-aging things in them, so they do a double duty. But in order to really address a difficult skin problem like dark spots, you need all the help you can get, and a serum is just the product for you. The moisturizer, and if you don't remember any of the other things I'm saying here, a moisturizer has a larger molecule and it will not penetrate as deep as serum. A serum will, okay? And you may not want to give them all that information. It sounds a little bit high tech, but you need to know it. And you know, if we had one product that would do everything we needed, why do you think we would have, we need these things. The skin needs these things because they do separate things. And I do love the one step for eye makeup remover or for changing things or for cleaning, but I still think a good deep pore cleanser is important too. So anyway, allow several minutes for your moisturizer to absorb before you apply your makeup. And I have been teaching that for over 40 years. So it really is important. And honestly, all your products, if you will allow a few minutes in between each one, you will find you'll get better results. And then we want to take care of our eyes so we don't get those old ugly crow's feet. And I think we've got some of the best. They're all really, really good. I use either the Eye Perfection or the eye gel on a regular basis. So, but you know, you have to try them yourself. If you don't believe in them and know they're going to work, you're not going to be able to convince others. So I think that it starts with your own conviction. And I don't just say those things to my clients to get them to buy it. I say it because it worked for me. And these are some of the moisturizers that we have now. My Everything Cream, the 4-in-1 Correction Complex, Swiss Collagen Day Cream. That's what the name is. It used to be called Swiss Formula, but it's called Swiss Collagen. And the Gelheiman Peptide Cream, as well as the Peptide Wrinkle Minimizer. And I didn't put the Daily Dew on here. That's not what it's called. Tell me again, Sharon. Well, you girls know.
Daily
what.
do. Daily do.
Okay, and it is nice. It is a very nice product. I tried it, but I need a little bit more. And I'm looking forward when we can add some more moisturizers and sunscreens. Aren't I, Sharon? I am.
Yes,
And-
you are. I
and-
am too, honey. We all standing in line for that doggone sunscreen.
I know, and we're gonna be happy when we get them. The exfoliators, I think it's wonderful that they're all the same price. And I do find that people will use the papaya brightening polish more often because they think it's easier. The Flurry, I have to use the Flurry about every 2 exfoliations. I want that Flurry. For my skin, it does more. But the papaya is a really good quick exfoliation. And the honey almond is loved by many. I personally have found that my choices are the brightening polish and the Flora Roberts exfoliator. And this is what serums and our enlightening system will do for the skin. It'll help get rid of those ugly things that people get on their skin, and sometimes on the ladies of color, it just reverses. They get a big white or light splotch, and the products really work well. And another thing that I appreciate that we have in our line, and I did not put it in this PowerPoint, is the photograph of what the complete fix will do, because it sort of sounds like it's a product for older skin, but it is for all skin. It really is a good product. And then for protection, we have the Daily Dew, and we also have the primers, the Flora Roberts and the Velvet Primer. All excellent products, excellent. And to revitalize and repair. I think it's Dahara that asked me about dry skin versus someone who has psoriasis or something like that. Often those type of skin, I know the dermatologists will call them contact dermatitis, or they'll give it a name. But I do think that although it may be caused from an outside source, I think it's a lot of the inside. So make sure that you eat correctly and drink plenty of water, and you need to get medication to put on those things. But all these are to help care for the skin, and no one needs them all. And that's where the skin scan will really help you to help your clients determine which ones they need. And this is one of my favorites. I've said for years that the Underglow may be called makeup magic, but it's a skincare product too. It's a light diffusing gel that helps to soften lines and hide imperfections. The enhanced formula incorporates a new tripeptide, and believe you me, gals, out in today's world, clients know peptide and hyaluronic acid. They know those words, and collagen. But it helps to boost the skin's own production of hyaluronic acid and improves the skin's collagen structure. And these work together to reduce visible signs of aging. And when you use this regularly, it will help the skin to become firmer, smoother, softer, and more hydrated. If I had to be on a desert island with one thing, I would want my Underglow. It is a wonderful, wonderful product. And Sharon finally got convinced and tried it, and it works on all skin tones.
It does.
I mean, beautiful. And you can use it under, over, or mix it with your foundation.
Yeah.
So give it a try and
Yeah.
see if you notice wonderful comments coming your way. And I've had really good success. Have you ever had somebody says, oh no, I don't wear any makeup? You can say, well, this is a skincare product. Let's just see what it'll do. I had two ladies that sat in my beauty chairs one day, and they said, no, we just want to get our colors done, and we don't want it. We don't want all that stuff. Because one of them had bought gift certificates for year-old daughters. So I said, fine, we can do that. So we did the color and appliance, and then I started talking about the Underglow, and I put it on half their face, each of them. And they're like, go ahead, put it on the other side too. And then they said, I said, well, did you want to try any of the other makeup products? Oh yeah. So they ended up doing the whole thing. In fact, I shipped makeup, mascara, eyeshadow, and an eyeliner to one of those ladies today, and she lives in Waterloo, Illinois. It's just across the river, but she to this day uses it. And that's pretty exciting when you don't just sell them once, but they come back and they want it again. For the body, we have shea nut butter and the skin correction body treatment. And very important that you take care of the whole body. Okay, let's say you want to have a skincare class for several people. I do set up a tray with products on there. And I may give them a questionnaire, and this take 10 minutes and lose 10 years. I'll show you this in a minute, and I'll tell you where I got it. And I'm sure Jill's maybe already shared it with you. But I know Jill said put catalogs out and all that, and I do my closing in a different way. But be ready for them, and you can have some soft music in the background. You don't want to have too much. And do be careful with how much scented candles and whatever you have going. If you've got a puppy dog, then you need to soften some of the puppy dog odor. But a lot of people do not do well with perfumes. So be careful what direction you go with that. And often if they get too inundated with fragrance, they won't be as open to hearing about our products. But if you're using that questionnaire where either that they're figuring out their skin or if you're doing it for them, that's fine. And then do the skin scan and the take 10 minutes and lose 10 years. Let me show it to you. This just tells that you want to clean morning and night, use the toner afterwards, moisturize every morning and night, exfoliate 2 or 3 times a week, and renew. That would be your serums. But let me go back to the other side. That is a really good sheet to use, and I don't know whether Sharon still has some, but I would be glad to share that. In fact, Alice, one of my consultants, actually put it on a half page, and then on the back of that, she put the prescription that she's recommending for the client. So either one we could do. It's a really good follow-up thinking. And you want to jot down what you recommended. As I told you, you can do it on your records and give them that sheet, or you can make a copy of that sheet. And if you've got a group of people, you might can do a lot of these things on the back of their hands. I found it very advantageous to just do a model, and the other ladies would book an appointment because they would get their skin scan done. So sometimes doing everybody, you kind of gave away all your secrets. No, I don't mean secrets, but you did it all. Anyway, and this has got ending with a SPF, and unfortunately we can't do that right now. And Sharon, I've just found myself asking them if they use a SPF now. And I say, if they say yes, I say, fine, just put that over what I'm showing you today, because I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best thing to do, because you don't want to not have them protecting their skin. But just tell them when I get my SPF in, I'll be calling you so that we can go ahead and place your order.
Right. And that's exactly kind of how I handle it. And no, I'm not happy about it, but well, as Jack Buck used to say, things turn out for the best for those who make the best of how things turn out.
That's right. That's right. That's it. That's it right there. So no, I need this. Lose 10 minutes, 10 years. I need this.
Okay. I'll share it with you.
Tahira, I'm ready to, that's gonna be my theme.
That's gonna be your motto.
That's
Hold on,
that's gonna
Sharon,
be
you can't leave us
getting
out
up to
now.
55 miles an hour.
That's gonna take you. Yeah, we'll
I'm
like
gonna
that
do
too.
mine tomorrow.
Yeah.
I have to tell you where that came from.
Oh, okay.
I was preparing to teach an adult education class in the community education. And I saw this ad in a magazine for Clinique, and it kind of said those words. And I took those words and applied it to our products. Plus, when you're teaching in a lot of school districts and so forth and so on, you're not really allowed to promote your products or mention. I mean, you know, they can see what I'm working with, but that gave the opportunity to make it be a little bit more generic. But on my clients, I actually go back and talk about our products, not generality. Okay. But the take 10 minutes and lose 10 years really is good. And again, this is the questionnaire where the client sort of answers, does she notice this? But pull those off the inside Color Me, and I know I've got copies of this, and so does Jill. We can get it to you. Reinforce what you saw with the skin scan, mark the sheets. Some buzzwords, I mentioned this earlier, that ladies know what ceramides and humectants and hyaluronic and peptides. Years ago, those were foreign words, but it's on the internet, it's in all the magazines, it's on TV. Even Olive Olay talks about those things. So other people are advertising for us, which is a good thing.
Mhm.
Always be prepared. After completing the skin scan, apply their treatments. And as I said, you can make a duplicate of that sheet or make notes on their client care sheet. A good thing to do is once you do a skin scan and get them on the product, suggest that you do a follow-up scan in 6 or 8 weeks. And that's kind of an automatic second appointment.
Mhm.
And as I said, if you're doing a group, maybe only doing the model is a good incentive to get the other people to book so they can get their skin done. And you see, I kind of repeat myself, so that way y'all will really get it. The one thing that I did want to talk about is don't get into saying, oh, I don't know what that is, it looks awful, or anything like that. You're not there to diagnose.
Ooh, no.
But if you see something that's out of the ordinary, or maybe they even ask you to look at it, because I've had that happen. Just say the next time you're at the dermatologist, have them check it. It's the best thing to do. We're not in the business to diagnose.
Nothing a little vitamin C and retinol won't fix.
And I have a lab coat, kind of like a doctor, and I like to wear it when I do the skin scan. And it also helps me when I'm doing the makeup, not to get makeup all over my clothes.
I like that lab jacket.
Like that, okay.
Main thing is to relax and enjoy it.
Yes, ma'am.
And before I ever put the light on their face, I tell them they look much better without that light. But what the light will do, it's kind of like a photo negative. It will show us what we're not seeing with the naked eye. But that's another reason that you do not want to leave it on their face forever and ever.
Yeah.
And the whole time that you're talking, when you are talking, hold it down and then say, okay, let's check for poor circulation. And I actually do the 2 different sides of their face separately to maybe, if I'm looking for sun damage, I may check both sides for sun damage and so forth. The one thing that I've not found anyone who didn't need is lip life. Because if their lips look sort of white and chalky, they're dehydrated. So just about everybody needs the lip life, and make sure that you let them know that it has sunscreen in it and it's great for the whole family and so forth. So, but you want to close the cell, add an exfoliator or maybe a nighttime moisturizer, and put together a package. And I find sometimes it's good to plan that ahead of time. This is what I sell, and our thing at the top covers this up. I call this my closing sheet. When I do a color alliance and a makeup, I normally summarize and say the skincare we just used is only $85. If you bought it separately, it would be $116. So you save $31. And we'll talk more about that later. And I do on my closing sheet, I have all the things listed about the Glamour Start in the middle. And then I have extra skin care treatments and makeup products listed down below. So I told you that you want to start them on the basic. And for this client, would need to add maybe the retinol and maybe Swiss collagen, maybe an exfoliator. And I just circle those things. I don't say you need everything I'm talking about. I just circle them. And I generally hand this sheet to her and say, while I'm making a notation of all your colors, so I'll make sure I have the record, you look over this and let me know if you want to get the skincare and the glamour start, or if you want us to break up some of it or separate it, or whatever word I use. Various words, it depends on who I'm working with. But I shut up once I've said that, and I let them make the decision. And 9 times out of 10, I have my clients that come for color analysis walk out the door with the skincare. And they say, I'm going to check all this, and I will, because I tell them, you know, you can get it today or when you come back to get your palette. I give them their choice. And it so happens that a client that I did her colors late summer this year, I am delivering a repeat order to her tomorrow. Cleanser, and I forgot two skincare items and several. She said, well, I got the blue eyeshadow, but I want a green one. And she needs a new mascara. So she listened to me about that. So anyway, that is exciting. I have a repeat customer. That's what my goal is not to just sell products or do X amount of makeovers, but to create repeat customers. And if anybody would like this sheet, I'd be glad to share it with you. And you can take and use this format and do any of the collections or any of the products. I tried to update all of these prices down here. The only thing I didn't get on here is our new gel lip pencil, and it is great. And I will be adding that to mine. But this is what I use instead of a catalog for closing the sale. And even though we're getting those wonderful catalogs, I still will use that catalog once they've decided and give it to them when they walk out the door. I know Jill uses the catalog for closing the sale, but maybe it's just those of us here in Missouri, but I find sometimes it's too much for them to look at, that this guides them towards making basic decisions. So that's my opinion. And this is a Skin Scan coupon. If you would like this, I do have a template of it, and I'd be glad to send it to you. There's 4 on a page. And I run them off in that bright green or orange, you know, those vivid colors, and cut them up. And when I am scheduling them to come back for their, pick up their palette, I say, oh, here, I forgot to give you this. We'll do this when you come back. And you can see down here, it says it's a $75 value. I've never charged anybody money for doing a skin scan. You can if you want to, but it's a wonderful tool to have. And when we first got the skin scan, I worked with it with clients I already had. And at that time, I think we only had one serum, and they would only buy it when it was on sale. And wow, it was unbelievable that night when we used the skin scan, how much skincare I sold, because they could see their own need. And, you know, they have to be in the right frame of mind. Don't force it on them. make them want it. Let them know you've got something that you need. And again, it's on sale for just 50 bucks. And I thank you all, and I'll be glad to take any questions. Have I missed any up here in the chat log?
There was one in the chat, and I think that Carol may have kind of alluded to this as well. Linda, and I think Linda may have left because she had something she was doing at work. But
Okay.
she said, I think, and this goes back to the slide where you showed like the Gail Heyman serum, it was all these products, ending with the vitamin C and the retinol. So Linda said, I think less is more, maybe because I tend to be sensitive. She said, I cannot imagine using all those serums if I thought retinol caps were more for oily skin, which retinol is for anybody, whether they can be acne prone, or they can be older. I mean, so there is no age limit with that other than adults. I thought retinol caps were more for oilier skins, but no, everybody can use retinol. I just use C caps under my everything cream for day and either enlighten serum at night or fade cream under my everything cream, of course. And then eye perfection cream day and night. So I think her question and her concern is if you recommend all of, and this is not the sheet, I think it goes back where you were talking about a day and a night regime.
Yeah.
When you get there, I'll know.
This is where they were.
This is it. Yeah. Okay.
And no, I definitely would not recommend all these.
Okay.
I did this for those of us in the business.
Okay.
To know what they were.
And no, so these are all the special serum options that you have.
Right.
And the special treatment moisturizers, but you are not saying that this would be, I think what Carol had asked, is that the order in which you would use the product? And I think you did answer that question, that you always use the thinnest first, which the serum, assuming that you're using one serum in day and one at night, it would be one of these. But I have heard some of our consultants using multiple serums, like using the complete fix and let's say the vitamin C or the retinol PM capsules. And what you're saying is that the complete fix or the advanced ageless elixir or the nourishing and firm serum, if you're using one of those three along with your capsules, that those would go on first and then you would follow with the
Right.
other. Is that correct, Sandy?
Right, and just the concept of whatever is thinnest goes on
first. Yes.
One go deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry that she misunderstood me or that I didn't explain it well. But no, and I wouldn't dare use them all either. Honestly, I'm trying to remember who it was in my group that said she tried something and it balled up. And I said, well, you don't need all that and you probably use too much.
Okay.
When you are using multiple things, you use less when you're layering. And I do more layering in the winter than I do in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well, your skin looks great, Sandy.
well, you're very kind, but it is aging skin. But you know what? So is
Hey, you know what? I got my Medicare card
so
too.
is-
Everybody, we all are aging, honey. Every day we're aging. So
if you're alive, you're aging.
if you're alive, you're aging. I don't care how young you are. But I tell you what, I got a passport. I got a Medicare passport.
I'm jealous.
Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous. I tell, don't be jealous. Use all the products I use, honey. That's what we got to do. So all the serum. Yeah. So, but Sandy, huh?
One question, yeah.
Yeah.
So Sandy, when you say, I know you say don't leave the scanner on the app. So if you're doing, like you said, searching for particulars like dehydration, what is the amount of time you
Oh,
should? 'Cause
well,
I know you mentioned, yeah,
no.
what is the amount of time?
No, you can leave it on, but don't leave it up at their face.
Right, that's what I'm saying. What,
Yeah.
How
how long
long?
should you on the face?
I normally look real quick, maybe a minute or less.
Okay,
And then I say, well, you're good in that area, or we do need to work on this, or, definitely you don't want to put them
To
down.
leave it on there, yeah.
One of the things I found when I used to do in-home things, and of course, everybody would want to gather around and watch.
Mhm.
And there'd always be one or two that say, well, you're not putting that thing on my face. So, to kind of prepare them that it is just to find out what they need.
Right.
And the hospitals are doing something similar to this and taking photos and send them home. I don't have the ability to really take a good photo of what I'm seeing because the circumstances. I think they have it in a closed box or something. Some of the department stores used to have the box that women would come and, put their face in a certain spot.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
yeah.
the problem with that is they don't have clean skin. And when you are trying to
Right.
do it on makeup or skin that's been out all day, the little children that used to say, do me, do me. Often they would have a milk mustache and then show up crazy where they'd been drinking milk and it was still around their mouth. So anyway.
So Sandy, the slide where you had my closing sheet, is that an editable document?
Well, let me think. I think
Because
that,
I like the concept of it. I'd like to be able to make that available for the consultants as well. But they would need to be able to change what their collection is.
I have it in Word, and I was trying to remember who I just sent it to, and I made that one into PDF just to show her. But I have it in Word. The problem that I have is since we have Windows 10, and then in order for my thing to be compatible with what Jill sends me, I bought the Microsoft yearly update thing. And they are constantly moving my stuff around and I can't find things.
So if you send it to me, I mean, I can recreate it.
I will send you a
Mhm.
copy of it, I promise.
Okay. So, and then I think I already have the coupons on
I
inside.
think you do, but
Yeah.
I've got it. It's a template.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's real easy
And
to
you can
send.
print it out and just,
Just a note on doing my closing sheet thing. You have to narrow your margins down real narrow. You have to as little as you can because there's a lot on there. In order to get it all on there, you can't do normal margins. So when I send it, it may not come through exactly right, but
that's okay. That's okay.
if you'll adjust your margins, it'll be fine.
Okay. All right. But this has been great. This has been very helpful.
Thank you, Sandy.
And
You're welcome.
I think the skincare class instructions would probably be good for everybody too, because we need to start getting prepared for that.
Well, I did a thing called Serums 101.
Yeah.
And Moisturizers 101, but
yeah.
I can kind of incorporate together, but that's when I went back because I found that some of my people were not totally understanding
Right.
when to use what.
When to use what, yeah.
And I'm gonna have a big birthday this year, and somebody who's 50 years old may not need to use what I use. But if they do, this is how it should be done.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. All right. Well, like I said, I'm proud to carry my Medicare card. And
good.
And so that, because that's how I'm going to get people to buy products. You on Medicare? Yes, ma'am. So
Karen,
that's
you still
good.
recording. You still recording.
I know, and I want the people that are listening to know what needs to be done next. But that's all right. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sandy. This has
Yay,
been
Sandy, thank you. Yes.
awesome.
Thank you.
Very informative.
Thank
Okay,
you.
okay,
And
I'm gonna stop sharing, shall I?
Mhm.
yes, and I'm going to stop the recording.